Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm not able to say this, but I'm going to. These are two of kind of some of my favorite people. Can I say that? Can I say that, you guys? I can say that.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, they're both like, yes. I just love you guys' energies. I just got goosebumps. So there's two of them here today, you guys. If you see this video, what in the heck are we doing? We're getting to know personal chats, getting to know the fourfold formula authors a little bit closely. I'm going to have Kristi Tornabene right after these gals, kind of a splice. So please stay tuned. And as you can see, there are two instead of three people here. But what are we doing? We've had 30 people, 40 people we've gotten to know over the last 7 months. What do you feel, Gina?
What do I feel?
Author.
I feel this has been a really exciting opportunity. And I love that you have Jesica and I together because she's actually the one that connected us.
I know.
And I've followed synchronicities in my life, and so many people that I kind of really haven't known kept saying, you should really consider writing. Should consider writing. And I kept hearing that over and over. And then I get that email from Jesica and I'm like, everything just said yes.
Wow. That's so weird. I knew you guys, obviously, that Jesica she reached out to you, and Jessica and I go back. But it was weird because the other night I did a show too where the three people were linked and it wasn't rehearsed. So we had on Janice from Hawaii, who recommended Sylvie from Montreal, who recommended Nini, who's originally from Africa but works in New York. And I was just looking at him and I'm like, I'm from Florida, and I'm going, this is a really good example of how we've talked about bringing people together.
Absolutely.
So, hey, Jessica, you
Hi.
can't get rid of me. I'm just like one of those sores that just keep coming back.
I guess you all can't get rid of me either.
You can't get rid of you either. So you guys are becoming published authors. And I know, like with you, Jessica, I hope this is okay to say, when Marcus, there I go again. I'm asking permission, but not. Marcus and I, who's my co-author, as you guys know him, we were talking the other day, he and I were chatting about how some people just dove into this process to write who maybe didn't want to initially or didn't know they could initially. But you had made a comment to me that I shared with him that he was like, wow. And I said, I need to share this publicly. And these are my words, but you said something along the line of, I wanted to take the risk and the opportunity because maybe in 2 or 3 years, if I do nothing now, get interviewed, nothing now, or say anything now, like I might want to refer back to this experience or resume back to it or something back to it. So it's almost like you had the foresight to do it in case you look back at, is that accurate in kind of my perception on that?
Yes, and I usually don't pass up an opportunity for personal growth. And this was a huge, huge, huge step for me to do this. And I can tell you, I've learned so much from listening to the teasers of the other people's stories and like kind of hearing how they write and how they describe. And like, this has been, so I've grown as a writer, as a professional, and as a person doing this. And so, yeah, it's something that I will probably be able to refer to back years later.
You know, when I'm goosebumping like crazy with you guys, Gina, sup? You know, what's really interesting is when I realized you guys, so I'm a radio host with Transformation Talk Radio with Pat Baccili, who's also a media partner. And all 7 of our media partners wrote stories for the book, which isn't very common. And so when we look at them and Marcus and myself and James Redfield and all you guys, we had 40 people submit stories. But when I think about Transformation Talk Radio in and of itself, there are 8, I believe, radio show hosts who became a part of this project. And when you think of that, you two are into this together, but also myself. And it's so cool how just through stories, this has happened. All right, down and personal, here we go. All right, I was thinking about some questions, and you know how the questions can go back where it's like, what would you tell your 4-year-old self, that you know now? I want to go back to 15. You're 15 years old, 15, 16, right? You're in high school, freshman or sophomore. Gina, oh damn, here we go, girl. Are you standing on the street corner puffing one? What are you doing? And what would you tell yourself?
Well, 15 and 16, I was highly involved in athletics. I traveled all over the place with soccer and softball on club teams. I really wasn't interested in high school. By the time I was a sophomore, I really could have just left it, you know. But that was my focus. If I would have talked to, I don't know if I'd tell myself anything different other than, because I worked it out where I could leave high school half day. As soon as lunch came, I was gone. And that's the one thing I told myself. I would have taken more advantage of the magnet program I was in. It was a science and engineering based program in computer science.
Okay.
And I think I would have just started working somewhere. That would have been the only thing I would have changed to really take advantage of that. And stand up for myself a little more with coaches, because I can be so about the team that, okay, if that's for the team, then okay, I'll switch positions, even though it actually weakened our infield. Because there were all these other politics happening with parents wanting their kid to be wherever. And so I moved from shortstop to third base. And if any of you are into athletics, shortstop is a really key position where you control
my position. Yeah.
And it weakened our infield. The person was still good in her own right, but her position where she shined the most was somewhere else. And so,
beautiful.
Yeah. And so for me, it's that reminder of know where you shine and be okay to stand up and be like, no, this isn't okay. And even push for the question, like, well, what's the reasoning? Why are you moving me here? Because I've been doing really excellent here since I've been invited onto this team.
There you go.
Right? And challenge, like not to be afraid to challenge those that are running things, because the authority over you is false. They're using you and your ability to succeed, and you have every right to stand up and question choices.
Nice. That's amazing. I'm already forward thinking, because Jessica, you were an athlete too, so I'm sure I might as well just sit back and eat my apple, because you two are gonna common, right? Is that what you?
It's so like, that's so parallel. Like mine was basketball, but same story, different timeline in the universe, right? And I resonate so much with everything you just said, because I had the same experience. And I think if I went back, I may tell myself something similar, but also I changed a lot as a person in those times, from feeling really confident and outgoing to like completely not, and second guessing and insecure because of some of those choices that were made because of politics and whatever in high school sports. And like I shifted a little bit in that.
Years. Yeah.
And
there's a shift there.
You know, it took me a while to come back to that, and I think I'm still working on it, but that's something that was one of those pivotal times, right? In your life where something happens, you know, that is your whole world at that time. And so if I went back, I think I would just, you know, remind myself that it's a process to go through and learn from and grow from.
Nice work. Oh, lady.
Yeah, and I don't have to be defined by it.
On fire tonight. Unrehearsed and unscripted, coming in raw. All right, Gina, let's, where did you grow up? Did you grow up because you're in California now. Are you a California girl?
I am a California girl, always in my flip-flops, even in the rain. I grew up in Orange County in Southern California, and more like in Fullerton, California. So for those of you that aren't familiar, like Disneyland area, and people go, oh, okay. Yeah. So I grew up there, and then I've been in the Bay Area in San Jose since 2006. But I briefly left to Seattle for 6 months and immediately got kicked back to California.
It's a tough place. It's different, Jessica, because that's kind of ish where you're from. You grew up, share with us, in Seattle.
No, I grew up not in Seattle. I'm here now. I grew up in Montana, and some flip-flops, but cowgirl boots.
There you go.
Thinking about getting another pair, actually.
Oh, that's great. Okay, you guys, I'm going to give you a magic wand. Such power. Oh my gosh. But we don't want that. We want Gina writes blogs for me, you guys. And Gina also writes for BizCat 360, Dennis Pitocco, who's a media partner for us. And you wrote a blog recently that's like, don't give up the power, peeps.
Right.
Don't give up. But now what am I doing? I'm handing you a magic wand. And I'm giving you the power. But I'm giving you the power. What in today's world, like with what's going on, what would you try to improve upon or shine some positive light on?
I'm so glad you're asking her first.
That's a big question.
Make it a baby zap, small wand. We're not talking Harry Potter stuff.
Well, that'll be enough. A small wand is enough to shift, right? Just get out of the rut, right? Get out of the little rut, do the little turn to the left and start a new path. And really what I find the most challenging thing is for many of us, myself included, is to just give each other a break. Like really let go of the judgment of everything that's happening in the world.
That's good.
Because that's not serving anybody.
No.
And really bring it back into your own personal individual life and be like, with everything going on, how do I really want to live my life today? Do I want to live it judging everyone else, being angry, or do I actually just want to be happy and go experience life and enjoy the people around me, enjoy life, like just start living.
Look at
Pick
her.
one
She's
thing.
like preaching tonight. She's like, girl,
and do it.
do
Just
it.
one thing, just do it.
That's great. That's really, really good. I love that. Okay, magic wand pass. Jessica, doesn't have to be big. What would you kind of yapple dapple?
Perspective, understanding that everyone comes to things with their own perspective, their own programming. And at the core of all of that, we don't want to be afraid. We don't want to be judged. We don't want to be called bad. We don't want to be any. So we're all actually in agreement on that. We're just not in agreement on what all of those things are. And if we were to have a little compassion and understanding that it's just a different perspective.
That's what I loved about this book. In the beginning, we had lots and lots of questions. Two of the main questions were, what do I have possibly to say that anyone else would care about? Come on. And the second thing was about, what if I'm telling my story too soon? The person hasn't passed. What if I hurt their feelings? A lot of in the beginning, we were just really saying, it is your story to tell. It is your perspective. And you can word it very nicely in the sense of prefacing. This is my, my experience, my vision of the, because even my sister and I have very different perspectives. It can be of the same date, even same house, whatever. And anybody else out there who wants to write and do what you guys did, and they don't want to take a big step and do their own book, or even if they do, this is what Marcus and I were saying the other day. Let's say you do or have written 10 books. You can't mimic an experience like this with 29, 30, or 35 other people. The life lessons just being in this group. Jess, you said that. It's like even for me, I didn't know what magic carpet ride we were on. Gina, what have you learned the most about yourself since you were writing in the book? You're blogging for me, you're blogging for BizCat, you're coming into the second book. What's one thing you've learned most about yourself?
Oh, how good it feels to allow my voice to be expressed and my experiences to be expressed. That has been the biggest jewel. And then, you read my latest blog. That I was shocked how many pages that was. And
2,200 words.
I had to stop.
Yeah.
Because it just kept channeling through. And all I knew is like I had to write whatever came out. And it just wove together. And so it's allowing me this place for creation to come through in a creative outlet that I myself have strayed away from, because this is also giving me that voice. There's some protection about writing through the word. And then at the same time, being totally public with it.
It's amazing. And we're all together. We got each other's back. What about you,
Absolutely.
Jess? Oh, sorry. I got an interview coming up. I'm so excited. Like in minutes
doing
from
it
now.
together is huge. Having that
Yeah.
like that container of people going through a similar experience.
Exactly. Okay, Jess, I want you to tie us up because I have to go get interviewed with Marcus. This is what happens after this stuff. Okay, tie us up with something that you've learned.
Yeah. Two things. I've learned that I'm not ready to share everything yet. Some of this has been a challenge. There's a lot I'm not ready to share and dive into yet. And also I am capable of writing and learning. And that's a growth mindset thing for me because I never thought this was anything I would ever do.
You heard it here. You heard it here. All right, you guys, that's a little bit of a personal chat. We're keeping these short just so you can get a dive in. You're going to learn more about these guys in the next coming months when they're interviewed for their stories that are coming out in the Fourfold Formula, which is coming out this summer. So ladies, let's for now just say goodbye to everybody. And
Bye.
Thank you for coming, Gina, Jessica.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hi.
Hello.
So good to see you.
It's good to be here.
Good to be here. So we're going to get a little personal because they get to know your story and they get to know kind of the background of when they get to read your story. And so I kind of want to know, like, what do you do? When you're interviewing someone in their 20s, you're like, what do you want to be? Where are you going to school? But when we're not 20, just saying, I don't always like to say, what do you do for a living? Right? Because it's not all about, as we get older, it's like work, life, and play balance. So what occupies most of your time right now? What does Kristi do most of the time right now?
Kristi loves to sing, so she participates in her church choir. I used to participate in a women's choral group too, but they all got older and it sort of disbanded just by attrition.
I didn't even know you sang.
Yeah.
See?
I love to sing.
See, that's one of the reasons that we're doing this. That's amazing. So what did you do or are you doing? Because I think did you retire? What did you do with your career? What were you doing?
Oh, I did many things. I got a degree in medical technology and microbiology, and I think I worked in that for a year or two while I corralled my husband into marrying me.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and then we moved and I had children and I raised children for about 10 years. And I went back to work trying to be a seamstress. And when my daughter cut the belt loops and I had to rearrange them all around the pants, I said, I don't think this is going to work. Thank goodness she didn't cut anything I can't fix. So I stopped that. And then I decided to go to learn how to do jewelry because I made it a piece in college. And I loved it. But then when I melted a piece, I said, oh, I don't think this is for me either.
Okay, so you kept going, until you found your niche.
So I went to work in a pharmacy and I thought about going to pharmacy school. And then when they said I had to start over because I'd been out too long, I said, not going to start over. No way. So I decided to go work at insurance, and my husband loved that job. He was embarrassed I was working in a grocery store. And when I went to work in insurance, he loved that, but I had no retirement. And when he retired, he decided that he was going to take it all. And then when he died, it would stop. And I went, oh, that's not part of the marriage agreement. So,
oh no.
yeah. So that's when I started looking at multi-level marketing, and you name it, I've tried everything. But when my health started declining, I said, okay, I studied microbiology to become a health coach, but I didn't know what it meant till now.
Right. So what brought you, did you originally want to tell a story because you've written in you've been in multi-author books before and told stories. When you tell a story now, does it come mostly from a medical, like this was how I felt, or a disease, and I want to share that story? Because you've got a million stories in you, girl.
Well, I do, but I don't want to talk about relationships, even though I can help people with relationships, because my youngest daughter and my husband turned against me, and it took 8 years to get my power back. But I do have stories like that. And that's why I think I'll make an effective coach, because I do understand a lot of things about things that can go wrong.
Right, right. So you decided to share your story for this book is about pretty much trying to not let the Lou Gehrig's gene take over your life, as you have some family
Right.
history with it.
Right.
Right. And you're going
Right.
to help a lot of people with just sharing your personal story. What do you expect to come out of this? So the book is going to come out this summer. Do you have any expectations or thoughts? What are your thoughts?
I have created courses and coaching programs, and I hope that people, they don't do anything until something goes wrong. And I guess that's why I started. But we all wait. And the success I had with one 80-year-old woman who said this didn't work, who lost 115 pounds and cured her diverticulosis, said, I know this works. You just have to work it.
So you're hoping that people will read your story, they'll be inspired, motivated, and reach out so you can keep working with more people. That's ultimately your goal.
Right.
Your
That's
passion.
my goal.
Yeah.
And they don't know what they don't know. So
that's why we share stories.
We got to get them started.
That's right. So where do you see yourself a year from now?
I see myself having at least 10 clients and working one-to-one, or in a group is a little difficult unless I get all the O's and the A's and the B's together, in their separate groups.
Right.
But I do want to help people realize that they can achieve optimal health as they age.
Yes, and for those of you who don't know anything about Kristi's background right now, which you'll learn a little bit in the book, is she does follow and believe in the blood type diet. So that's where she would like to go, is to help people in that arena. And when you read the book, you're going to have contact information for all the authors. You'll know how to reach out to them. You'll know their biography and their personal stories, which I believe is really important, because we can all say our resume, right? You have a beautiful resume. You just shared that. I've done this, this.
Yeah.
But it's the story behind it. People connect with people. So you and I could talk about, this all day long, right?
Yeah.
We could talk about tape, but they're going to come back to me or back to you, different people, because of who we are individually. So it's important to get to know.
Well, someone connected with me through sewing. She said, oh, that's where we can connect.
Well, there you
so
go.
I sent her a picture of the 4 quilts I've made so far.
There you go. There you go. So how did you feel being a part of a multi-author group with this experience? What has it been like so far?
I especially liked this book because it was not about the ethereal. It was not about how you feel and how you think. And it was more about, this is what it is. And this is what I mean when I want to show you what there is to learn.
Your experience, your personal experience.
Yeah.
We really tried to, in the 4 chapters, it was actually easier than we thought. So the chapters, heart, spirit, mind, and body. Marcus, my co-author, as you know, was a little nervous in the beginning. He's like, Peggy, what if we get all the same type of stories and they all would go into the spirit chapter? And I said, Marcus, we're going to be okay. They're going to, because we all tell, even if we talk about the same subject, or it just all fell where there were just perfect, almost 10 people in the heart section and 10 people in the spirit. Yeah. It just worked out really, really
well. I loved being a part of this book. I can't praise it enough. It's perfect.
Oh,
it's really
sweet.
Perfect.
You're sweet. All right, you guys. Well, this is Kristi right here, and you're going to be able to meet many, many more authors that are part of this book, The Fourfold Formula, which is the first of a 3-book series, the All Things Wellness series. And this book will be coming out this summer. And book 2, we're going to try to launch by the holidays. It's called Win the Wellness War. Still based on true stories of heart, spirit, mind, and body. Still seeking 30 authors. We have the same media partners coming back, and we will be announcing who's writing the foreword really soon. So
sounds wonderful.
All right, Kristi, great. Thanks for stopping by.
All right. Good talking to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.